Toronto home sales continue to decline in November, falling almost 16% from the same period last year. Let's talk about the housing market in the Greater Toronto Area with John Pasalis, president of Realosophy Realty. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So rates are down, inventory's up. What is holding buyers back?
Well, there's a lot of uncertainty still in the economy. A lot of buyers are anxious. And part of it is they're worried that prices might actually be lower. So if you're worried that prices might actually fall, a lot of times you just sit on the sidelines and wait to see what happens. And that's really where we're at right now. Sales are going to end the year pretty much at a 25-year low. So people who are buying pretty much need to buy, and a lot of other buyers are just basically waiting to see what happens.
Okay, so we had a lot of uncertainty at the start of the year with the threats of the tariffs and the implementation of the tariffs. The trade deal has not yet been cleared. Are people then still worried about their jobs? Is that what you're getting?
Yeah, absolutely. They're worried about their jobs. The market started very bullish at the start of the year. People thought prices were going to rise in the spring. But certainly a lot of the uncertainty due to the trade war pushed people to the sidelines. They're worried about their jobs. They're worried about the economy, and they're worried prices might fall further. So a lot of this is a lot of the factors that are impacting buyers right now is just all of this uncertainty all around. And when you're anxious about the economy, anxious about your job, you're not rushing in to buy a home, and that's what we're seeing right now.
Okay, so let's dig into some of the details. Are we seeing, for example, newly built home selling versus resales? Are there better opportunities for buyers there?
Well, newly built homes, pre-construction sales have fallen off a cliff, whether we're looking at the condominium market or the low-rise market. They're pretty much non-existent. This is certainly one of the concerns, that we're not going to have a lot of new housing starts. And those aren't moving because, unlike the resale market where prices adjust to today's market, builders can't just lower their price 25% because their projects no longer become economically feasible. So the new construction housing market has basically stalled. All of the declines and the softening we're seeing right now is in the resale market.
Okay, let's talk about the housing outlook for the Greater Toronto Area, what we refer to as the GTA. What does that look like to you for 2026?
I mean, it's probably not bullish. I think a lot of people are hoping the market is going to rebound. I think it's probably going to remain sluggish in the first half of next year. The second half, of course, is going to be anyone's guess. I mean, and a lot of it is going to depend on what happens with trade with the United States. Do we have a little bit more uncertainty? And does the economy stabilize, or are we going to start hearing about job losses? So a lot's going to depend on the economy and the market sentiment in the second half of this year. But the best case scenario is that we get out of this period of falling home prices and see prices stabilize in the second half.
You mentioned that those who are buying are those who need to buy. Are you hearing or seeing a lot of first-time buyers still, or are they still on the sidelines as well?
Yeah, definitely we're seeing some first-time buyers. Some first-time buyers who are starting a life with a partner together. They want a home. They're having a child. Many of them are still buying a home. Some people are not as concerned about their jobs. They're not as concerned about timing the market. If they're looking for a low-rise home, a semi or detached, those are down 8 to 9% year over year. So they're finding that they can afford to buy a home in places that weren't possible a year ago. So some buyers are seeing this as an opportunity. They realize that prices may dip a little bit, but they're not trying to time the market.
Also wondering, John, whether or not you're seeing the trends that apply within the city of Toronto are the same that are in the extended areas of Toronto.
I would say the outer suburbs are certainly more sluggish. And this is really a product of the fact that they were also saw the biggest increase during COVID. If we think about the areas that saw the most rapid acceleration in prices, I mean, the further you were from the downtown core, the more rapid your price increase. And as the market's adjusting, those areas are certainly more sluggish, whereas urban homes tend to be selling a little bit better and a little bit more quickly.
All right, John Pasalis, going to leave it there, sir, but thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.